Hey, this is Primoz Lazar here, and I wanted to slow down a little bit. I wanted to stop. I wanted to take some time out of my life, out of my day, so I can share with you my message, so I can connect you to my purpose, to my vision, to my goals, to what is that I have here to provide this world, and what's my value that I have to add potentially to you as well, right? So look, this is my book, right? I wrote this book 1.5 years ago. It's my second book. It talks about how can you launch your own online business, create your own course, create your own program, how can you sell it to the online audience, and how can you build a full-time business out of doing that, right? And how can you start selling your courses, your programs passively on the long term. This is my second book. The first book that I wrote is my life story book, okay? Which I don't have accidentally with me right now here, but in this book, the professional book of mine, the first chapter also summarizes my story, right? So what I wanted to do today is to take these 40 minutes out of my day, and if you got some time to spend with me, watch this video and enjoy this conversation with me, all right? Because look, what I find out is that it's completely different energy if I spend 40 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours watching a movie, right? Or if I spend 40 minutes or 1 hour watching something professional, something inspirational, something that is self-development, professional business development, right? It's a completely different energy that you get out of it, right? So this could add a lot of value to your life, all right? Anyways, enough of long talk, let's go directly into it, okay? There are a few chapters that I wrote about in this book, okay? And I start with my story. I'm gonna give you a quick summary of what is my story and what I went through. Then I'm gonna move into the first and the most important step if you are launching or any kind of business, right? Actually, the most important thing is mindset, sufficient personality, right? How can you be personally stable so you can build your business on top? Because your personal stability is the foundation of growing anything that's worthwhile, right? If you're growing your business, you gotta be sufficient personally. Okay, I'm gonna give you like 3, 4, 5 ideas about that. Okay, after you have a sufficient stable personality, you need to define your purpose, your goals, your vision, right? You gotta know what is that you are trying to achieve, what is that you are aiming forward to get out of your life, right? And if you set that goal, your dream life goals, your ultimate achievable goal, if you got that vision, then you gotta create a path of how you're gonna come there, okay? And in my case, what can take me toward my goal is having an online business vehicle that's gonna take me there, right? And I am gonna talk more about how can you build a full-time online business, right, as well. So, you know, after you got your goals, your vision, your dreams, then you need to know what is that you can contribute to the world. What can be your value? What can you become great at? How can you be an expert at something, right? Because around this expertise, you can build then a business. You can create your offer, you can create your solution, and you can start marketing it and selling it and so on, right? I'm gonna describe this process to you in the next short time, right, that we're gonna spend here together, and I'm gonna conclude it all of how do you actually launch your offer, your course, your program, how can you build a social media audience, how can you start selling that course passively, right? And what's the marketing and sales process and so on. And very important thing that I'm also gonna cover in this conversation is how can you execute on all of this? Because the daily routine is the key to achieving your dream. Right? Better that you can organize your monthly, your weekly, and your daily routine, and better you can follow it and consistently keep repeating it, better you can achieve your results, your goals, right? And I write about this routine, the execution plan, also in my book, right? So let me rewind now and lead you step by step through it all, okay? And I don't want to waste your time. I want to be sharp to the point. So here is my story, okay? I'm 29 right now, kind of young, right? But I believe that I lost many years, right? And if I look back, I actually have not lost them, but I used them as the experience that I gained, and I saw what does not work, right? So from now on, I can be building on top of that foundation, right? So let's say that I have not lost my last 10 years, but I actually learned from them, right? I'm 29, 10 years ago, I completely broke down, okay? I dropped out of high school probably 11 years ago, and I did not know what to do next, okay? I completely lost my vision. I tried to launch my photography business locally at that time, and I failed. But I found a great time, great pleasure wasting time with friends, right? So I kind of got sidetracked, and with doing those kind of not proper things and partying, and I used some illegal substances as well. I tried to figure out what's my purpose, right? What's the truth? What's that thing, this universe that actually works, right? And with me, for those 2 years, 3 years, going really down deep into the depression, into the dark places, I lost myself down there, right? And I was in front of me making an ultimate decision: either I'm gonna die, right? Something will happen to me. I was like very weak physically and all, financially, socially. My family got disappointed about me. Everything kind of collapsed. I needed to make a decision: either I give up or I rebuild my life. And that's what the decision that I made, right? That I'm gonna rebuild my life and I'm gonna start progressing again. I needed 1 or 2 years after that decision to kind of come to that neutral standpoint. I returned some money to my dad, and I did not know what to do next, okay? So somehow I decided that I'm gonna leave my country, home country, Slovenia in Europe, where I was born, and travel to Europe, to Australia. Travel from Europe to Australia. And I lived for 5 years in Australia. It was a completely unknown land to me when I came there. I could not speak English. I did not know what I'm going into, but I took that leap of faith and I traveled there, right? In the first year, I just got used to that place. I kind of secured my visa. I did some jobs like a car wash to get some money in, right? And then I found a professional photography and filmmaking job. And I did that job for 2 or 3 years. And that's where I learned the universal success principles. And I also saw how the business works, right? How the entrepreneurial environment works. Because that business was really successful in attracting more clients and serving those photography clients. And through doing that, I learned everything from customer service to teamwork to leadership, because as a photographer, I needed to be a really great leader to direct, my clients who I take photos of. I learned how to deliver great service, right? And much more. But with doing that job, I felt location dependent. Okay, I needed to study and figure out something that I could do potentially online, that it would allow me to travel. I did not have any experience with the online business world, and stuff like that. But I kind of started learning about digital marketing, and I learned the basics of it. I started then serving local business owners there with content creation. I created content pieces for them. I learned how to build websites. I did that for them, landing pages, some email marketing. I even set up some Facebook ads for them, and I generated the first leads for them. Okay, it took me 1 or 2 years to figure all of these things out. And I saw that they don't know how to convert those leads into sales. So I needed to study sales. And I then coached them, consulted them on how to do those sales calls. And with doing that, I also figured out that these people are very busy, right? They are lost, overwhelmed, their mindset is not in place, and they don't have great strategies for their business growth. So I fell in love with business consulting. Okay, I saw that I'm really good with seeing the vision and strategizing and making a plan of how can you come from here to there. And that's when I came across consulting and coaching, right? But I was location dependent and still working with local clients. And 3 years ago, I came across the online coaching opportunity. And in the last 3 years, I then already left Australia. I traveled to US and then from US back to Europe. And now I'm here in my house, new house. And I got vision for the future to come as well. So I'm gonna let you know more about that later on. But anyways, 3 years ago, I started studying the online coaching industry, right? And I saw that many coaches, online entrepreneurs are working from their laptops, working from anywhere they are at, and they sell their services, their coaching for higher price, right? And I saw this as an opportunity that I want to do the same. I want to become a high-end premium online coach, consultant. And I did not know what my first offer is going to be, right? I did not know who I'm going to serve, what I'm going to do for them. But I knew that I don't want to build websites anymore. I don't want to do the done-for-you service for anyone, right? So I decided, all right, let me figure out how to get my first clients online, and I'm gonna teach that same thing that I'm learning myself to others, right? So I played a game. What came first, chicken or the egg, right? And I was a few steps ahead of those people who I was kind of coaching. I started for a small price, $200, $300, $500. And I started teaching new online coaches how to get the first clients online. And in the last 3 years, I increased my price from $300, $500, $1K, $1,500, $2K, $2,500, right? That's where I am right now. $2,500, I got a $3,500 offer as well, and I'm aiming to increase it to $5K, right? So I'm not completely high-end consultant coach right yet, but I am somewhere in the middle. I am able to have a full-time business from this, right? And I built it in the last year or two, I would say, actually, right? So I have been able to figure out quite a few things, okay? And I'm gonna go in depth in the process of how can someone start an online business, right? Right now, okay? The next 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'm gonna share with you the process of how does it all work, all right? So that was my story. Now I'm gonna rewind a little bit, and I don't know if that's rewinding or whatsoever, but I want to rewind because I already finished before with telling you where does it all start, right? Mindset, energy, right? It's all about being able to be upbeat, being energetically empowered. So the energy flows, right? The energy needs to flow. And I many times got caught in this situation of when the things just don't flow, right? So I needed to figure it out. Okay, and there are 5 or 6 things. I don't want to go in depth of this right now because I would rather explain you how do you build an online business and those strategies, but I don't want to skip this as well, right? You gotta have, first of all, self-control. That's like the driver, right? You need to be able to drive your life. be in control, right? You gotta be intelligent, you gotta be smart, you gotta be focused, you gotta be communicative, right? You gotta have control over everything, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You gotta be able to stand for yourself, right? Of course, you're gonna also need to know the driving rules, right? If you are the driver, you need to know the driving rules. You need to know how the universal success principles work, okay? So this is like a huge discussion, right? But I will give you 2 points, right? Either you are constructive, you add value, you are positive, you are adding, you are creating, right? Or you are deconstructive, you do the wrong things. You are not allowed to steal or take from others. You are not allowed to break things, right? You are not allowed to be angry, upset, and stuff like that, right? You are not allowed to be negative. These are a few rules that I would like to share with you right now. Then you, of course, need to have a vehicle, right? Okay, and in the personal self-development industry, I would say that my vehicle is my personality, right? Who I am appearing to be, right? That's like my vehicle, right? So I'm able to control myself, I'm able to be the driver, I know the driving rules, and I have this vehicle, right? Who I am, what do I present, what's my story, and stuff like that. And you gotta be like, I would say attractive, right? Then you gotta have some discipline. You gotta stand behind your words, right? And you gotta show up with actions. And that's like the discipline is like an engine, right? Your engine, yeah, like you are doing, working, you're progressing, you're showing up. And you got self-control, you're steering your yourself, you got the rules already, and now you need some fuel, right? And the fuel would be enthusiasm, right? Passion, inspiration, something that flows, right? And so on, okay? The last thing that you would need to have is a map, okay? The map is your purpose. It's your goal. It's your vision, right? And you gotta define that goal. You gotta become clear with what is that you want to achieve. And I break down this in my book into a few things, all right? First of all, having the dream goal, a life goals, right? And then I break down those into 6 aspects of life: mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, socially, and financially, right? Those are 6 aspects of life, and you want to ask yourself, how do I want my dream life to look like in these 6 areas, right? What are my life goals? So that's like your long-term vision, and you can create, for example, a dream vision board, right? And you can stick it somewhere so you can see it and you can see your end vision, right? Then you will need to decide on your short-term goal or goals. It's gonna be called an ultimate achievable goal. That's gonna be a 1 or 2 or 3 year goal toward which you're gonna be going, right? Something that you're gonna be working hard towards, right? You're gonna need to set an ultimate achievable goal, and if you're gonna be building an online business, right, your online business should take you to that ultimate achievable goal, and from there you can then scale it and grow it bigger, right? And so on. And you can create also a definite purpose statement, one statement that summarizes your vision, your purpose, right? And I talk about how to write this purpose statement in my book as well. Now, you got some principles, you got goals, you got vision, right? Now you gotta ask yourself, how can you come there, right? And that comes all down to what is that you can contribute to the world, right? What is your value that you can create, right, for other people? So you gotta ask yourself, what is your expertise? What is your gift? right? What is that one thing that you can teach others or help others with? How can you become really good at it? How can you be at first one step ahead of someone else, and then few steps ahead, and 3 steps and 5 steps, and really like many steps ahead of that person? How can you become so good at that thing that you're gonna be able to charge money for that difference, right? So here I urge you to think about your gifts, your expertise, right? And then I urge you to ask yourself, what's that niche that you're gonna be participating in, right? That you can be participating in. Who is that ideal client that you can serve, right? And in which industry you would be, right? I can break down the industries in which you can help others, right? So it could be health, right? Nutrition, weight loss, and so on. It could be career, right? Business growth, how to find a job, and so on. Then it could be mindset, right? How to perform better, how to have more energy, how to be happy, how to manifest things, right? That's like the 3rd category. And the 4th category then would be relationships, right? How can you, either with your spouse or friends or professional relationships and so on, right? So these are like 4 main categories. Potentially there are more, right? But I'm talking out of my head right now. So you can pick any of those and you decide, okay, I'm gonna serve people in those categories, right? And then you need to decide what's gonna be your offer, right? What's the start point where that person is starting, right? If that's weight loss, right? They are overweight. And what's the end point, the result toward which you're gonna get those people to, right? For example, lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, right? So you need to know this difference because that's what you're gonna charge for, right? And then you gotta break down this path into steps, milestones through which people are gonna need to go through. You gotta ask yourself, how does that ultimate transformation ideally gonna look like, right? And you gotta ask yourself, what is that you're gonna need to teach someone? What are the limiting beliefs you're gonna need to shift for them? What is that they're gonna need to understand, learn, know, and do, right? And then you gotta make those steps because this ultimate transformation is gonna be your curriculum. It's gonna be your signature curriculum, right? Of your offer, of your program, of your course, right? So here is where we come to creating an offer. Now, first thing, we're gonna need to know the price point of your service, right? Of your offer. And usually I would suggest that you pick a price that is kind of higher, 2 or 3K if you're beginning, right? With this service. And that's very much of how much that result is worth to the person that you are getting the results for, right? I don't want to elaborate on this too much right now, but for example, that can be your one-on-one coaching offer, right? For example, 2 or 3K, I work with you for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, right? That's like 2-3 months, right? We're gonna have a weekly call. And I'm gonna lead you through those steps. I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna educate you on everything, and that's it, right? So that's gonna be then your offer. Now, in this particular case of what I'm sharing with you today, okay, I'm gonna show you and teach you how can you launch your course, your hybrid program. Hybrid program is a combination of a video course, which is a smaller price point, and a weekly group Q&A calls, group mastermind, right? Which is kind of mid-price point, and one-on-one coaching support on top with those who really need more guidance, right? So combination of all of these 3 things is called hybrid program, right? And I'm gonna explain you how can you launch your course, your hybrid program in a big way so you can onboard a bigger amount of clients in one shot and you can achieve the ultimate breakthrough with your business and then keep selling this offer, your video course, your hybrid program, passively through an evergreen approach, evergreen webinar, consistent traffic, organic traffic to that webinar, and so on. Right? Hopefully this is not too complicated for you to understand what I'm saying right now. But yeah, there are steps from going from zero, you don't have an offer, to selling your courses passively. Right? That's my signature program. How to start here and how to end up here selling your courses, programs passively, evergreen all the time, even while you sleep. So someone can purchase and join your course, your program at any time, right? Myself, I actually divide this journey into two offers of mine, right? I teach starting online coaches how to get new clients online organically and then consistently through organic approach. And I also work with those who are already more advanced, how to launch their course program in a bigger way, how to set up a signature webinar and keep selling those courses passively, right? Because for this to work, you need to have a big enough audience already. You gotta be, you gotta prove your offer and so on, right? So anyways, that's my work, that's my service. How can you be selling your courses, programs passively online? Now, I kind of gave you this picture of how can you come up with an offer, right? And you gotta have a clear message that you're gonna be sharing with other people, all right? So I'm gonna give you a few steps to go through now, okay? And I don't want to overcomplicate to you this thing right now. I'm gonna be pretty much sharp to the point and explain you these few things, right? The first thing that you're gonna need to do is set up your online social media presence, right? You're gonna need to establish yourself as a person of value, right? So your channels, social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and so on, they convey the right message. They tell others that you can help them with this and this and that. So basically, you're gonna need to polish your bio, your about you description, right? And create a few content pieces that convey that message, right? I put the content pieces, the content types in three categories. The first one is inspire, sharing your story and so on, and lifestyle of yours with people. Second one is educate, right? Which is educating people on your value, on the path that they're gonna need to take, shifting their limiting beliefs and so on. And the third group is offer, right? Telling people what's your program about, how can they take action to join it, asking them to lift up their hand and express an interest to learn more about your program, your offer, right? So these are the three content types that you're gonna need to be putting out there, but more about it later. So you see, you established now the online foundation. Now you need to know how can you expand your audience of the right potential clients, right? Because you cannot sell your offer if you don't have anyone to speak to, right? So there are a few audience expansion techniques, and I write about them in my book. So for example, manual networking, making new friends with potential clients from certain Facebook groups or Instagram competitors, right? You can find your ideal clients following already other people, and you can like their stuff, follow them, they follow you back, and all this kind of, that's like manual expansion, right? Then we would have collaborations, right, with other industry leaders who serve the same audience as you do, but they don't have the same, they have a non-competitive service for them, right? So you can launch your own podcast, or you can be featured on other podcasts, or you can do Facebook Lives with these people, right? And you kind of get exposure that way, right? You can be guest blog post writing on other blogs and drive traffic to yourself there, right? And build an email list from there. Okay, this could be overcomplicated for you to understand right now, depends on which stage you are. But I have like 5 or 6 audience expansion techniques. So you can get more people to follow you, subscribe to you, and become part of your network, right? And then affiliate marketing, you can partner up with other affiliates, building your own Facebook group, participating in other Facebook groups. So all of this stuff, right, allows you to expand the audience of potential clients. Now, here is where the organic sales process begins. You're going to be creating content pieces on consistent basis, and these people are going to be exposed to them, right? And the goal is that you drive more conversations. You get people lift up their hands, so they reach out to you in the DM chat, and you can have a conversation with them. And often you can even reach out to them and initiate that conversation, because through a DM conversation, then you can book a call with them. A sales call, a strategy call, right? Where you can diagnose their situation a little more in depth, and you can offer them or provide them with your offer, your program, your solution, right? So this process is an organic approach of how can you get clients yourself organically, right? Creating content pieces, expanding the audience, having DM conversations, booking calls, right? That's like the basic approach that you kind of need to understand, so you can get new course, new program sales at any time, right? Now, the last thing would be of this organic approach, the daily execution, right? Because look, if you don't show up daily, you will not get any results. And this is where people fail. Starting an online business or any other business requires you to do some work, right? People say as well, like, all right, I'm just gonna do some easy stuff and I'm gonna get results, all right? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's gonna really work at the beginning, because if there is no audience that you have, no one's gonna be able to respond to your easy stuff, right? For example, to creating content piece and just everyone's gonna flow to work with you, right? Depends where you're starting, right, out. What I'm trying to say with this is, every day you're gonna need to show up. Okay, you're gonna need to work on the audience expansion, either doing a podcast or adding new friends, getting new followers, engaging with them, whatever the audience expansion technique would be. And every day you're gonna need to create a content piece, or every second day or so, all right? That's gonna nurture that audience, it's gonna make them to desire to work with you. And every day also you're gonna need to reply to everyone in DMs, right? Every day you're gonna need to book calls and do those calls, right? So this is called a daily execution routine, okay? And all of those 4 or 5 tasks that I just mentioned to you, they need to be done daily. Online business growth needs to become part of your lifestyle, right? It actually becomes your lifestyle thereafter. You know, you're gonna need to do 50, 60, 70% of marketing if you actually want to make that sale and coach and teach and help and serve to your clients, right? So as you can see, it all stands on your daily routine. The daily routine, again, is the key to achieving your dream. Okay, no business will be built without you putting in any effort, right? Except if you're kind of lucky, if you're really smart and you just make something work right like that. I don't know if that's possible. Amazing, right? Now, you see, now we move to the next stage, to more advanced stage, right? I'm gonna introduce you to this stage as well, because I want you to know how can you start selling your courses, your programs passively, right? I mean, one of the passive approaches here is already that you achieve that people start reaching out to you to work with you when they are seeing your content, right? So organic marketing attraction, that's like one passive approach to getting clients. You will need 6 to 8 months or 12 months to establish this correctly. But anyways, there is a there is a more advanced way as well, all right? And this is how it all goes, right? You're gonna need, of course, to expand your audience at first, all right? You're gonna need to build an email list, okay? from doing those collaborations from your podcast, you're gonna need to create a lead magnet to build an email list, right? There are a few ways of how can you build an email list. Don't have much time right now to go into it, but your email list is gonna be the foundation, so thereafter you can launch your course, your hybrid program, right? And onboard a bigger amount of clients in one shot. Through audience expansion, which can take for a few months, you're gonna expand, have that reach, you're gonna build an engaged audience, and then you will be able to announce your program, your course launch. You want to launch your course in a specific way, because you don't even need to create a course ahead of time, right? But basically you can just create an outline of your course or your program, and you can announce that you're gonna be launching this, creating this course. And here is where the beta course validation process begins. It's gonna go for 1 or 2 weeks. Of course, you need to understand that you already have a big audience, right? And you're gonna launch, you're gonna announce your first webinar, right? A webinar is a presentation of where you get 10, 20, 30 people on that webinar presentation, and then you introduce them to a solution to their problem, right? So you're gonna be promoting that webinar for 1 week, and in the second week you're gonna do that first webinar, and you're gonna tell people that you are about to create that your course program begins in 2 or 3 weeks time, right? And they can get into it right now for a beta price point, right? Which is usually 30-40% cheaper than the full regular price, right? And you can even prove right now if people are willing to pay for your course, right? And if they're gonna do that, if they're gonna pay in, right, then you will do 2 things. You're gonna prepare yourself to start creating the course material, the video material and worksheets and all that kind of stuff. And you're gonna also do another 2 webinars. You're gonna launch in an even bigger way. You're gonna keep then promoting the second webinar, which is called a pre-launch webinar, where people can join in for an early bird price point, right? You're gonna go live on Facebook 4 or 5 times right before that webinar, and you're gonna be promoting that webinar in a big way, and even to your email list, to your social media audience, and so on. And then you're gonna, the cart is gonna open for another 4 days, and people will be able to buy in for an early bird price point into your webinar, right? Into your offer, not your webinar, right? And the cart is gonna be open only for 4 days. On the 4th day, the price is gonna increase, right? It's gonna go up to the full price point. And then you're gonna do the last webinar, okay? And it's gonna introduce them that this is the last opportunity, only 3 days left, so they buy into your course program experience. And then on the day 3, you close the cart, and that's it. People cannot join your course program right now for this price anymore, right? If you promote this correctly, you can onboard 10, 15, 20, 30 clients in one shot, who each will pay from $400 to $1,000 or $2,000, depends what your group program experience will be priced, right? And some of them will be upsold as well to your one-on-one coaching experience, and those, that will bring you even more cash. So that is a complete process to go through, right? But as you can see, how does it all work is you build and expand the audience, right? It's quite a hard thing to do, to expand your audience, right? Because you gotta have a lot of collaborations, podcasts, and brand awareness and stuff like that. Then building an email list, announcing your course program launch in a big way, doing it, and then you also need to deliver your course thereafter, right? So that's the last step of all of this, right? You will then give them the access to module 1 first week, right? And you're gonna do a group call with them. Then in second week, you're gonna give them the module 2, right, that you're gonna create during the first week, and you're gonna have another group call with them, and you're gonna be doing this, right, delivering this course group program week after week, drip releasing the content for the next 8 weeks, right, or 12 weeks, depending how long your program is, right? And after that, you see your course is gonna be created, and you can always then leverage your video material, so you educate everyone new who comes into your program experience. Now, what also happens after this launch process is that you optimize your webinar, put it online, and it's already recorded, and it's always gonna sit there, okay? And you're gonna create an email marketing plan and content marketing plan and audience expansion plan, and you're gonna start driving more and more traffic to this webinar, and people will be able to buy into your course, your program, at any time, even when you're sleeping, right? And they can join into your group experience at any time, because now you're gonna be running your hybrid program throughout all the year, okay? People will join in at any time, they will study your course material, and they're gonna join your group calls where you're gonna be answering their questions, right? And the group that's gonna be there, they will all benefit from each other, right? From each other's questions and your answers, right? So you see, this is like a full experience, and it all begins with you deciding that you want to do this, right? That you want to have this as your goal, and packaging it all, then creating content pieces, doing the work, engaging with people, working with your first or more clients, announcing your launch, onboarding a bigger amount of people in one shot, and proving that your course is of value, and then just keep filling it in and keep running it evergreen, right? This journey can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years time, or even more or less, right? Depends how you approach it and who guides you. And that's what I started. As you see, that's my value that I have to bring to the world, right? It's 10 steps to go through, okay? And I write about these steps in my book. And you would not believe me, all right? If this is my first bigger offer, right? I already have a vision for what's gonna happen next, right? Because not many of you know that my bigger vision in life is to build a huge online networking community called Premium Life. And how I'm gonna do that is kind of a secret. Not many really know about it, okay? Because it's my dream and I'm not ready for it yet. I'm not there yet. But how I'm gonna do it after I make this program that I just shared with you really work really well for most of the clients that I work with, then I'm gonna announce an affiliate marketing opportunity for my program. I'm gonna build a network marketing big network, right? And I'm also gonna build leaders and leaders of leaders, right? And of course, I'm gonna introduce Facebook paid advertising into it, right? To sell even more courses, programs passively. And I wanna build like a community. I wanna build a new market, right? I'm telling you this just because at the beginning I told you my story. I actually did not tell you that in Australia I set my life goals and I decided what I'm gonna want to achieve to the end of my life, right? And that's a vision that I have, and I'm inspired. I am completely into it. This is my purpose. That's why I show up, even if at times I could give up, right? And I become kind of tired and desperate. But I learned to control already myself, right? And I always just show up, right? I do a lot of physical activity as well. And I'm like a robot. I'm like a machine. Nothing stops me. I always show up. And, I am making an impact, right? On my own life and many other people that I interact with. So, let's see what else, all right? This is the conclusion of this video. I just shared with you quite a few impressive things, at least to me, right? my story, my approach of how I'm building my online business, how I'm building my own lifestyle. Right now I'm settled down in my house here in Europe, but in a year or two after the COVID situation goes completely away or so, and even my online business is going to be so much more stabilized. Right now I'm developing a lot of things. I'm really working on a lot of things. I want to be stable. Thereafter I'm gonna start traveling again and creating more content pieces and enjoying the life even more, But right now I'm willing to go through this hard work because I'm investing in myself and in my future, and I believe it's gonna work out all very well, right? So the purpose of this video was that I show up for you, share with you some of the background things that I have been working on and that I have gone through. If you got any more questions, I'm very much open that you strike a conversation with me. Follow me, subscribe me so you can stay in touch with my next content pieces that are coming out. Ask me questions, interact with me. I am most willing to help you out with your course, your program launch, with your organic marketing strategies so you can make more impact. I got a few offers, a few programs here in place through which I can help you with, from a smaller priced video course to higher priced one-on-one work with me, and I have a really high priced offer where I actually do the launch behind of scenes work for you, right? So you can show up on those main events and share your message, but I help you out with building your webinar and the backend email marketing and those kind of technical things, right? So that's my work, right? And if you need any assistance, any help, you see I'm very authentic. I'm open for collaborations. Just let me know. We're gonna have a chat. We're gonna book a call. We're gonna have fun going through this growth journey and so on. Okay, thank you so much for joining in, for listening to me, and it's my pleasure to be beside you on your side. All right, so wish you all best. Have fun.